Hello everyone. Today I wanted to talk about financial investments. Many people, the average person, goes to the bank and they ask their financial advisor, what do I do with my money? And they have a very simple form that they will fill out, your risk tolerance, how long you want to keep it in for, and some other very basic questions. Generally, they're put into the exact same funds regardless, and those are the ones that have given them the most incentives. So they get higher, let's say, percentages and commissions to sell particular funds. So that's usually where people go into regardless. Now, as time goes on, we can see that these funds are becoming more and more popular. All the while, people have been making more profits since March of 2009. So as they see their portfolio growing and getting bigger, they put more money. Some of them have been a little bit more, let's call it risk tolerant. And they've decided, I don't even need to use a financial advisor. I'm just going to do it myself. And surely you've seen the different banks out there. They're all offering different stock investment strategies people can use. They have the different platforms available for people. Very easy, very easy. So people get into ETFs, index funds. They may buy the common things that you would see online, whether it's Apple stock hitting new highs or Google or anything else. And so you would see that these are the things that people invest most into simply based on the information that they hear on the news, or it's something that they personally use, right? So if they drive a Tesla, for example, that they would be more likely to buy into Tesla. And this is something that the average person would do. I'm not saying a sophisticated investor. So this is what's been happening. It's the retail investors chasing the institutional investors. The institutional investors are chasing what the central banks are doing. This is all part of a very simple strategy that's been happening now since, let's say, about 2011 or so. Now, what we can look at deeply is that the average person has been putting all this money in, right? They've been dumping more and more and more and more money. Do they have an exit strategy prepared? Of course not. Not only does the average person not have an exit strategy prepared, the investment companies that hold on to your money, whether it's the banks, whether it's any sort of investment company, they don't have an exit strategy either. They never do. These companies that may have been around for 100 years, they still haven't figured it out that every once in a while there's a crash. And they simply don't acknowledge it, and your money is at stake. Your pension fund could be at stake, your children's college fund, everything else. So you are smarter than that. You didn't invest with these particular corporations. You did it on your own. But did you as an individual prepare an exit strategy? Will you keep it in cash? Just keep it in the account. Hold it there. Will you put it in a money market fund? Is that your exit strategy? That's cash. A lot of people believe that putting their money into money market funds is just as good as cash. Cash is cash that you hold in your hand. If you have cash in a bank, it's not really cash. You might call it cash, but of course it's not. That is owned by the bank. It's theirs now. Remember, what you're going to do today might be a factor literally tomorrow. So you need to be aware of that. You need to have these all prepared in your mind. When? Already. You should have already done that. Before you buy something, you already have to be prepared for what you want to do when you're going to sell. Now, of course, things change over time. That's a fact. Things will change. You might think at this moment, well, if the price hits a certain amount, then I'm going to sell it and I'm going to put it into this asset class and I'll do this and this. But then you notice that something else changes and it affects your strategy. That's okay. But at that moment, you knew what you were going to do. But the average person has no sense of what they're going to do next. They heard it on the radio, they saw it on the internet, they heard their favorite guru on TV or on YouTube, and they're simply going ahead as planned, as they're told. They don't realize how the herd mentality affects them. They don't realize how they're swayed back and forth between all of this, getting the propaganda in their mind, and they're not really conscious of that. So remember that. Remember that's very, very important. Intelligent investors prepare their exit strategy in advance. Am I saying that you need to be exiting right now? No, I'm saying you need to prepare your exit strategy. The average person won't exit. They'll follow it all the way down to the bottom. And some people are okay with that. I don't think that's a very sensible thing to do because there are cycles. When one asset class rises, there are maybe others that may not rise as much, and on the way down, others that you can be basically transferring your wealth from one to the other and doing so in order to profit or to lose less money depending how bad the situation really is. There are other assets that pay passive income. So if the market's down, if it's depreciating, let's say it's a real estate, for example, you buy a house and you are able to rent it out and the asset's appreciating further and further and further, but then they crash. You're still making that passive income as time goes on. So you're still going to be able to bring in money. Sure, the appreciation hasn't been there for you, but as long as you've been making that passive income, that's going to be beneficial. Those are times when you may want to hold those type of assets, the passive income type assets. When things are getting a little shaky, a little rocky, you would say, maybe now's the time. I'll take my profits or some of the profits. Ultimately, what would be very beneficial if everybody would see that as they hit certain levels, they start taking profits, but they don't because they're greedy. The average person's too greedy. So what do? They follow it all the way up and they ride it all the way down. Not a good strategy. So all I'm telling you today is not to listen to me. I'm not a guru. But I assure you, you type in the word financial expert, YouTube, you'll get a whole bunch of people that are willing to tell you exactly what the best investment is, what the best strategies are, which stocks to buy, when to sell, when to buy, all these different things. Not me. I'm simply here as somebody telling you, look out for this, look out for that, see this piece of information, what do you think about this piece of information, and you make the decision for yourself. If you found this video informative, then I would really appreciate a thumbs up. I want to tell everybody that I'm so appreciative of all your input on this channel. This channel is amazing. It's amazing, and that's because of you. Whenever I ask people, tell me what your food inflation has been over the last year, over the last 10 years. I have 100, 200 people that reply in a matter of 24 to 48 hours. And then I can piece that all together and you can see that depending on where you are in the world, and you can discuss back and forth. I've been learning so much because of you individuals out there. Not from, statistics that I read out there. It is the people that make it happen. That's real. Those are real statistics, anecdotal evidence, real indicators. Not what the S&P is at right now, not what the Apple stock is at right now. I'm talking about the average person, and they tell me what has happened. And then I piece it all together. I make videos to show you. So this has been incredibly informative to me. So once again, thank all of you for being so informative and so willing to share all your information. All right, now I want to give you one last note. I'm about 1 month behind on my emails. I know there's so many, there's a huge pile. And I don't like to give people just one-word responses. I actually like to respond to people. It takes me a while, but I wanted to let you know that I do get back to everybody who emails me. It just takes me a really long time. So hang in there. I will get back to you. That's all for this video. Take care and good night.